yours?
Isn't Ava over in Billy somewhere?
Ava is in Silver Spring.
Oh, okay.
She's in Laurel.
Laurel. Yeah, Laurel and Billy are close in my mind. I used to live in Annapolis.
Okay,
Yeah.
so you're not that far.
I'm from Maryland originally, yeah.
Okay.
So we're also now live on YouTube. So we're giving people a chance to join in there. And I'm just going to take a peek on the website and make sure it's streaming there.
So Melissa says she's from Maryland too. She's from Harford County.
Oh, we just did have a party, I think.
Yeah.
A Maryland party. Well, Teri used to live in Maryland, didn't you?
Yes, I did. So.
Great.
Well, here's Hillary, but I don't think she's anywhere close to Maryland.
Who is that?
Oh, Donna's in North Carolina. So am I, Donna. I'm in Murphy, well, closer to Brasstown, North Carolina.
I think she was talking about me when she said I wasn't close. She's right.
Oh,
No.
you're not.
Yeah, for California.
I know. It's early in the afternoon for you, Hillary.
Yeah, I actually didn't think I was going to be able to make it. And all of a sudden I was available. So I jumped on. I'm not even prepared to, but I wanted to, if there's enough room, I'll stay on as a panelist. If not, I'll get off.
There's definitely enough room so far.
Okay.
Yeah, I think a lot of people too are trying to find like how you get here. And that's why I want to you can make sure that we're streaming on the website too. So let me go there and let me look at that page.
Yeah,
Yay, we're there too. So there's probably a lot of people that are actually watching on the website too. All right, so we're all over the place tonight. We're on YouTube, we're on the website, and we're on Zoom. So those of you joining us on Zoom, welcome. Those of you watching on YouTube, welcome. So tonight we wanted to bring a live mixed media workshop. We do these workshops all the time in the alcohol ink art community. We've also done them here in Mixed Media Mad. When last year we did the gel plate experience, which I thought was a lot of fun. Those of you may get to know, that may be how you know who I am, because I led all of those last year, and I love working on the gel plates. A lot of fun. I love mixed media. I started out my art career doing alcohol ink, so that I always incorporate that in a lot of my work. I'm pretty entrenched in the alcohol ink art community, if you guys aren't aware of that. But I also love mixed media and all the different things we can do with mixed media. If it can be done, I've tried it probably. But I've been an artist for a little over 10 years. I started doing artwork when I learned alcohol ink back in 2012. So I haven't turned back, and my experience is graphic design, internet marketing. I've been doing that for over 25 years. So I also help artists learn how to market themselves online, and I have a different group from that. You guys can join us over at Art Bugle. So if you just go into Facebook and search for Art Bugle, you'll find us. We also have a website, artbugle.com. So check us out there if you get a chance. So Teri is here this evening. Teri is one of our contributors over at the Alcohol Ink Art community. She's on the creative team at Mixed Media Mad. She's one of our presenters in the Mixed Media Mad Mashup conference that's coming up this coming week. If you guys haven't checked that out and you're interested in checking that out, go to mixedmediamad.com, and right there on the homepage, you'll see a link to it. If you would like to attend, it's all virtual. You get lifetime access to all the replays of everything. We're going to do door prizes, and surprise, I'm going to add an extra workshop the following week for anybody who registers on gel printing. So we're going to, yeah, that's always a lot of fun. So we're going to do a gel printing work session. It's kind of free for all. So you'll be able to bring whatever tools you have, share whatever techniques you want. We'll all like do this together and have a lot of fun. So that's just an extra bonus to the already 8 presentations and projects that we have. So if you haven't checked out the Mixed Media Mad mashup for our spring 2022, go to the website and check that out. I have a coupon code for anybody who's watching here tonight. If you want to check that out, the coupon code is 20 off. It's real easy. 20 off. OFF. Really simple, so I can remember it. But if you go and you check it out, you can take $20 off the mixed media MAD registration. And that coupon is good through Sunday. So there's a little bit of urgency there. After Sunday, that discount will go away. So check that out. Just wanted to do a shout out on the conferences we're here tonight. And I think a lot of people here might have an interest in attending. I am going to turn it over to Teri and let her introduce herself, and then we'll get started.
Okay, hi, thank you, Laurie. I'm Teri, and I have been doing art nails for many years. When I turned 40, for some reason, I decided to try it, and since then, it's kind of been taking off. I've been a full-time artist since sometime in the 90s, and I've lived all over the country. I did a lot of tourist art. I did a lot of watercolors in Hawaii, in the San Juan Islands, and in Florida, and in the Caribbean. So, and I've taught a lot of art around the country. But I fell in love with alcohol inks, about 8 years ago. And then from there, I went to more mixed media stuff. I am just enthralled right now with the layering of mixed media. So that has been my latest passion, is this layering projects. And that's what I'm going to show now. Now, I am going to switch to my camera of my desk here. And can everybody still hear me? I have to make sure you can.
Yeah, we can hear you well.
Okay, thank you very much, Laurie. So what I'm doing today is just a fairly simple process. I'm taking a piece of paper, and you could use Bristol board or watercolor paper or canvas or mixed media paper of some kind. And I'm doing a small project because it takes time to dry, and we're doing quite a few layers. This was what I did just to kind of play with the techniques, to kind of give you something to show. I have some more, like here's another one of the ones that I've done, and I have many more in this one kind of process that I do. This one has probably 8 layers. This one only has about 4 or 5 layers. But so what we're going to do today is we're just going to start off, and we're just going to start playing. And the first thing that I usually play with is marks on paper. So I'm going to take a yellow, a red, and a blue. Let's try that for today. And in neo colors. You could also use Stabilo markers if you want it. I want something that's a little water soluble, and I'm just going to make some marks. I'm not really worried. I'm just, what I want to do is get rid of a lot of the white paper and just kind of let things become. So the first thing I'll do is I'll make the marks. And then, you know, if I want, I might put a few of the Stabilos in. Don't really need to worry about it. And then the next thing I do, whoops, I forgot my paper towels. You know, I'd always forget something. Where are my paper towels? Here they are. I tend to put the paper towels down so that I can, so that it doesn't get too wet. So what I'm going to do is I have a spritz bottle here. And as you can see, this just kind of softens and in some ways enhances all of the colors. I can grab a little brush from here in my water, and I can just kind of splatter and play. And this is my absolute first layer. It's just something to start off with, because what happens with me, I don't know if it happens to you, but frequently what happens to me is I start getting like freaked out about too much white paper showing or something. So, oh, it makes a nice gray in there. Okay, so now the next thing that I'm going to do is I'm going to find my little hair dryer and I'm going to dry it. So finger painting here and there. This is the little hair dryer I use for the to blow the alcohol inks, and it's not quite as not quite as forceful as the one I use over my watercolor station. So when I do these pieces, I usually have a thought in my head, whether it's garden or palm tree, you know, or tropics or something. And the thought that I'm holding in my head is spring and blooms. So what I'm going to do, this is mostly dry. So
Teri?
Yeah.
Someone was asking in the chat what kind of crayons they were. You didn't mention that, so.
Oh, it's the Neocolor 2 water soluble crayons.
Okay.
And you could also use the Stabilos. I have used the watercolor pencils too. It's just anything that'll kind of move around. The gel sticks work if you want to use gel sticks, anything that'll move around.
Thank you.
Okay. So, you know, this is pretty dry. Now, another thing I take, I don't know about you guys, but I take lessons from everybody. I mean, I am just a lesson addict. And a couple years ago, I started taking some of Tracy Vertigo's lesson, Verdugo, or I don't know how to pronounce her name. And one of the things that I really like that she does is she uses another piece of paper as a palette. So I'm going to get some colors here and I'm going to put them out on the palette. And I forgot a palette knife. See, I never do this perfectly. Palette knife. Okay. So what I'm going to do is I've got this little piece of watercolor paper here that I'll use as a palette. This is an example. This is actually the palette of the last painting I did. And eventually I will make this into another painting. It's kind of, it'll be just a start and I can do something else with it. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to put some white down because I mix almost every one of my colors. So I'm going to put some white here. That's probably more white than I need, but okay. And I'm going to put some of I have an Enzo yellow medium. I prefer transparent or translucent colors when I'm doing this project, at least for the first couple of layers. After that, I have been known to go to some more opaque colors. And
Hey,
yeah.
Sherry's asking if that's acrylic paint. I think there's times when you turn away from the camera, we might not be able to hear you. I think that's what is happening a little bit.
Yes, it is acrylic paint. You can use anybody's acrylic paint. This is a Nova color. I really like Betty Frank's work, and she got me into the Nova colors because they're so much less expensive than the golden. And in fact, she's doing some kind of special right now with a bundle of 15 colors for $95, which seems like it's a real deal. But so this is translucent naphtha crimson. Okay. And a lot of times I'll just like get rid of some of the extra stuff on my. And then this is phthalo turquoise, which is not, it's more opaque. But I just love the color, and I'll use it thinly so it won't make that much difference. Okay, so I put my 3 colors down, and now and I can just start putting some more colors down. What I want to do next is just start making some marks with just some of the colors. So I may want to like take this yellow here and mix a little bit of white in it. You can see me kind of playing in my palette here and mixing a little. I don't want it to be real thick. I want it to be fairly thin. And then I might just go and put some marks down. And this is just, this is going to be another layer. And then I'll take a little bit of this. I usually use the red pretty much either just with yellow or with the red, because I don't really like the pinks, the super pinks that happen. And I'm thinking, again, bloom. So I'm thinking that there's flowers back here somehow. And that we're going to have a garden. I'm going to write a word down here. And I'm just kind of playing a little bit here. And then the next thing I might want to put is a little more of, see, this looks really chaotic, but it works. Trying not to, I don't want to take the red and the yellow and the blue together too much because I don't want them to actually get too muddy looking. So at this point, I'm reasonably happy. I might want to take a few of a smaller, I'm going to get a smaller brush to make just a few more very bright passages of color in here. Working a little bit with some smaller spaces. And you do want color everywhere, but what you'll notice is I have more of the yellows and the reds in the top here, and I have more of the blues and the yellows with a little bit of red on the bottom. So I'm reasonably happy with that chaotic little piece of whatever there. And again, I am going to dry it a little bit. It's a little, this will probably be the last time we really are going to have to dry a lot. I might even do some dripping. Where's my dripper? That's a little, I might want a little, get a little more organic first before I dry it. I like to just let it do whatever it wants to do. Let's give it a little more. There we go. That's a little more organic. So now I'll dry it. So, and while I'm drying it, I can look at questions. So if anybody has any questions, I can, at this point, kind of look at it.
So Terry, I think a lot of people are watching on the website. So we're not seeing as much over on YouTube because they're doing it on the website. And then here in Zoom, we have quite a few people. If any of you here on the Zoom call want to join on screen, just raise your hand or let me know in the chat and I can bring you on screen. Otherwise, we'll continue going this route.
Okay, so that's pretty dry. It doesn't have to be totally dry, but you just don't want to make too much of a mess. And so now I'm going to start looking at some possibilities of stenciling or adding another layer of some sort in. Now, most of this layer is really warm here. I may end up working a lot more with the blue and the yellow on this layer, and then we'll see. But this is one of my favorite tools, drywall tape. I just like how this dances really well with another one of my favorite tools, which is bubble wrap, because you have the little dots and you have the bigger dots. And I just want to put some dots down. Now, I have a little bit of, oops. Well, maybe I don't have a little bit of that, but I'll have a little bit of the white ink. I like to, that's a little bit of just acrylic white ink. And the next thing I'm going to do is I'm going to mix up some color, and I'm going to stamp a little bit in places. And I don't necessarily perfectly stamp things. I mean, I wouldn't do only, you know, perfectly make sure I get the whole thing stamped. I want to have just a little general rhythm of stuff in different places, because I'm going to put 2 or 3 layers of stuff in on this piece. So here I'm going to, I think I'm going to switch and go a little, see if I can go a little greener. So I'm going to get this to work a little better for me. I'm hoping you can see my stamping thing here. And I'm going to stamp another area here. So I'm getting some, you can see I'm getting some texture in places. And I might take another, then I'm going to look for another tool here. Looking for, I don't know why I didn't, oh, here it is. This is also one that I really, really like. And I'm going to make this, I'm going to work at getting this color to be a little more of a lighter turquoise. So you can see I'm just mixing the color on the palette. And I'm going to go right over some of what I've already done with the dots. I'm just going to kind of explore and make some more color choices in here. I might even do something weird up here. I just want to get another layer of interesting color down here. Really like this. I'll try that. Now, sometimes I have to change my sponge, because if I really want to go to a nice yellow or a nice red, that green would make it brown. So now I'm going to change my sponge, and I'm going to get some boldness out here. So I kind of give me some red. I'm going to put some of this through in places. Ooh, that got too wet. So that happens. And you can also take it, since it's so wet, it's going to have another, it'll probably do a pattern this way. So, and it did. It gave me a little more texture. And I could probably do a little more texture this way. I'm not used to talking through this whole process. I'm more used to just making a mess all by myself. So I'm liking a lot of that. I still need more something happening. So I'm looking for another stencil or something. Oh, this one's got some interesting things. And so I'm going to go back now to, I want to maybe go a little orangier here and maybe do a little stenciling up in this area, just a drop down there. And there I go. I'm going to let that be for a second. And I really am going to flip this over again. Let's see what happens if we do this. I just tend to, I love all of the layer building. I love how how, wrong color, sorry. I love how it just kind of becomes something of interest here. And how you can just add texture, add layer, add whatever. I'm gonna put just a little more. I want some lighter something in this corner. So I'm going to take the bigger piece here. I like this. This has some bigger shapes. And I'm working on just lightening up this corner just a little bit. Maybe I'll put some light down here around the bottom. So there's only one way of doing it here. I kind of work until I'm starting to see a lot of color, a lot of energy working its way through. So then I start thinking, okay, well, what can I use stamp-wise? And that's when I start looking at different tools. Sometimes I will use corrugated cardboard. And so if I just put a little bit of ink on the corrugated cardboard, and then I can use that as a stamp. And so suddenly I have what could be kind of fences, or I'm not quite sure what it is. You make it more blue. I'm going to put another piece of that. The other thing that I find works best is if you do things in at least 3 spots. They don't have to be the same amount. Like I might only do like 4 of these little pieces of corrugated cardboard. But now I have this upward energy here. And I could even take a little bit of this and put it somewhere else just to, why not, right? There's not, very rarely do you mess up by doing any kind of interesting mark. Here's another little piece of paper that I've used a lot in collages, but it also makes a really interesting stamp. I'm going to work that with a little bit of maybe yellow. I don't know if you can see it. It's another piece of corrugated cardboard. So you can, as I said, you can use anything. Sometimes I use paper towels because they have such an interesting little pattern on them. But this one I'm gonna work with more of a yellow on it. Let's see what happens if I put just a little bit of this up in here. Whether it, yeah, I think it worked better as a Works better layered. So I forgot my, I forgot my favorite, which is bubble wrap for stamping. And so now I'm going to work on stamping with the bubble wrap. So I'm going to take a little bit, I'm going to just kind of paint this on. This is a little bit of the white. And then these are little bags that I forget what came in the bag. But I'm just going to work my way through and put some more color in here. So now you can see that I'm starting to look like I have blooms up here, paths and leaves, and maybe some what would I call it? Some flagstones or something down there. I can take a little bit of the red and again add a little bit of red in here for a little more excitement. Ooh, that's too much red, but oh well. And I think I'm going to let that sit for a moment and let me think about it and let it dry. By the time you ended up putting the stamping process on, you end up with some fairly thick areas. So you may want to make sure you have some time to let them dry. So that's what I'm going to do next. I'm going to clean up my mess and I'm going to let this dry. Any questions? Oh, Laurie, I really like yours. It's looking good.
Well, you're way ahead of me, but I'm catching up, and mine's bigger. What size are you working on? I'm working on.
I only worked on a 5x7 because I was worried about drying times.
Right, so that's what I'm dealing with. I'm on 11 by
right
14 or something like that. No, I'm 11 by 14.
Yeah, no, I only worked. When I do these demos, it does take so long to get things dry when we're doing layers. So I ended up choosing to do smaller.
So while you're doing that, I will go ahead and put in another plug for Mixed Media Mad Mashup for anybody who might be joining us right now. So we have a conference coming up this week. We have 8 different projects that we're presenting over the course of 2 days, and it's our annual Mixed Media Mad Mashup for the spring 2022. So if you are interested in checking out what that is all about, go to mixedmediamad.com, and we have it front and center on the website. And we have a coupon if any of you are interested in joining us. That coupon code is easy. It's 20 off, 20 OFF. I'll put a link on the YouTube and in the chat here in Zoom, and I'll also add it to the website for those of you who are watching on the website, which I think the bulk of people are actually watching it on the website right now. So I'll post it in all those places so you guys have it in case you want to check it out. 20 off, Mixed Media Mad Mashup, spring 2022, some fabulous projects, and I'm going to add a bonus session where we're going to do a paint along just like this for everyone who joins the following week for gel printing. So we're going to have a lot of fun with some gel prints. Pamela says she's all signed up for the mashup. Yay! Yay! Yeah, we have a pretty good turnout. We're going to have a lot of fun with that next week.
Yeah.
Yep, me too. I'll be there.
Oh, awesome. Yay!
We had so much fun last year, and the prizes are fabulous.
Yeah.
I mean, they really are. And we've got some new things this year.
Yeah,
I
it's
think
just an added bonus fun. So, okay, Jackie is raising her hand. She wants to come on screen, so I am going to promote her.
I'm on screen, Jackie. Somebody's saying, can we see
Come on
anybody
now.
else that's painting along? So Sherry, are you painting along with us?
Couldn't unmute, sorry. I did not paint along with you, but I am doing something that's similar and trying to figure out how I can incorporate some of your steps.
Oh, okay. That'll be fabulous. Yeah, painting, you don't have to do exactly what I do. And that's one of the things you can use any 3 colors. You can use any, word that you think of. You don't have to do exactly what I am doing. Just do whatever you feel like is what you want to do. So I think mine is about dry. And now I'm going to have to start thinking about, do I want to put another layer on, or is this the time when I want to pick out the painting? Frequently, I will do another maybe 2 or 3 layers on this, but it takes, it would just take so much time. You see me trying to straighten out my paper. My paper's not working as well as I wanted to do. I actually prefer to do this than to tape down the paper, because a lot of times when I do this, I love this raggedy edge. And if I do something like put some gold or some stuff on it, sometimes I will darken the edge or use pan pastels around the edge. And then it becomes, the edge becomes part of the painting. But in order to do that, you have to kind of play with it. So, and I'm fairly certain I'm going to make the edge as part of this painting here. So now I'm looking at making some more marks possibly. Thinking about, do I want to bring any other colors in? I don't really think so, unless I maybe want to bring something like this blue. This is a Stabilo blue. I could make a few marks with the Stabilo and see. Well, it's interesting. It gives me some different colors in there, but that's not making me jump up and down with joy. I really like the Stabilos once they're kind of what I call activated, but that is horrible. What brush is that? So here, like if I put that color on, and I'm just going to soften it a little bit in places. Let me see how that works. Oh, I kind of like that. Okay, so what is next here? What am I looking to accomplish? What do I like? What do I dislike? I think I need more. I might need more flowery shapes. Really like this area down here. I like the green. I think at this point I'm going to start looking at what I want to pick out maybe. So, yeah, not quite. See, this is what my problem is. I start going in and out and in and out and in and out with this. What am I going to do next? I still need a little something in here. So I'm going to go back to the yellow. A little more sense of light through the center here. So I'm going to put a little bit of this yellow through the center. Yeah, I like a little more sense of light. And I somehow need to get more sense of light or something up here on the top. So I'm just going to use that same color. don't like what happened there, but I will make it go away. See, if I just glaze what you see, can you see all those little dots that you see underneath of this? That's what I love about, the idea of this mixed media, is I get all of this just interesting layers of stuff happening. This is turning really orange. And the one I do a one that has probably 8 layers for the Mixed Media Mad Conference, which took me about 2 hours, but I edited it down to about 1. And I did a lot more glazing and stuff for that one. But this is just a slight demo. So what you're seeing me do is just tone some places here with this yellow and just start kind of deciding what I like and what else needs to be done here. Okay, so I do think I'm going to end up with more of the flagstones or whatever they are here. So I'm going to do that. And oops, flagstones. I'm going to have to put more white in somewhere. Used all my white.
So Teri, I didn't ask this, but are you using more like this heavier body type acrylic paint?
No, I'm using, it's like medium body. In fact, it's a little heavier than I usually like, because frequently I'll use the acrylic inks. I'm using Nova, which are, and so you keep on seeing me spray this.
Uh-huh.
Because I'm trying to get it to be a little more liquid.
Okay.
So, but no, I'm not using real heavy. I'm using more of, they're not heavy, but they're not fluid, but
Okay.
and sometimes I'll use like the fluid of the acrylic fluid ink or the acrylic fluid just the fluid acrylics, I forget what high flow acrylics.
So not like this kind right here. Like, can you see what I'm talking about?
Oh no, but that's a good one. That one's good too. I use them too.
I love the Deco Art paints for using on the gel plates. That's why I asked.
Yeah, well, and I don't know. I'm putting just a few more lights in here. Hasn't quite become what I want it to become yet. I really like this in here though. So mostly when I work with this process, I think it's mostly about just letting the painting decide what it wants to become after you've put a couple layers on it. It just seems to me that there's very much of it kind of paints, I don't want to say paints itself, but it does some really, I like that? No, I don't. And then you make mistakes like that and say, okay, well, that's not what I was going for.
That's me all the time.
I know that is me 90% of the time. I want it a little darker down there, but I didn't want it that dark. So here I go again with the, I'm going to use the water in and almost use this like almost a watercolor.
I don't know if it's your camera, if it's really that beautiful, but that pink, Is,
Well, it's a redder than yeah, it's a slightly redder on my, but yeah, it's pretty gorgeous, isn't it?
it is. I'm not able to achieve that here. Mine's more muted looking.
Yeah, well, one of the other things that I wanted to mention was that if this one that I'm doing here is a more muted version. And if you want it to be more intense, what I do is I'll put a coating of white gesso on the watercolor paper first. Or use, if you're using watercolor paper, you can use the, what's the word for it? The hot pressed watercolor paper. And your colors are much more intense. I'm just kind of playing a little bit on the sides, trying to get everything to work. It hasn't totally spoken to me yet. I'm thinking these are like abstract flagstones. And then I've got this moss with these little flowers through some of it. And I'm not sure what this is. And I'm just going up. So I think at this point, I'm going to dry it one more time. And I'm going to start working with some acrylic, with some finer lines. I do think, though, that I want to put one more layer of white flowers in there yet. With my I'm becoming pre-verbal. Oh no, I'm thinking too hard. So let me see about these nice light flowers, see what happens if I put some light flowers in
that
here.
pretty mint color green you have going on is really pretty too.
Yeah, that is the phthalo, that is the turquoise and a little bit of white. The phthalo turquoise. It is a beautiful color. Oh.
I'm going to dry mine for a bit and I'm going to mix up some of that. I like that.
Yeah, it's a very pretty color. Okay, I think that's enough of that stuff. Okay, I'm going to dry mine too, and then I'm going to think about, I'm going to use more direct acrylic pens. I have lots of different acrylic pens that I can use. So that's my next step. I do love some of these colors, and I think you only get these colors if you just keep on layering all this stuff over one another. Because this lime green is really beautiful up there too.
I think we were both muted at the same time.
Oh, okay.
That's fine. It looks like you're using this. What kind of dryer are you using, Terry? I just got one of these. This is one of my favorite tools. Yeah.
I'm using that Conair that I use for blowing alcohol inks every once in a while.
Yeah, this is what I use for, the inks as well. And I was thinking about ordering another in fear that they may get discontinued.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Need one, but I need one though that has the little nozzle too, and I haven't been able to find one of those in the smaller version here. I put one of the little, I tried to do some pouring stuff the other day with resins, and I put that big nozzle on my big hair dryer and it just blew like 12 feet across the room.
Oh, no.
This is not what I want to do. Well, I'm really actually loving these colors. I'm loving these turquoises. I'm loving the red and the yellow together. I'm noticing that they seem to be making some kind of little flower patterns there. And so next I'm going to decide what I want to do. Do I want to add some smaller acrylic like shapes? And so these are reasonably inexpensive. And I think these are, I don't know, I think they're ones. And the acrylic, they say they're extra fine points, but they're not really totally extra fine points. And so sometimes I just kind of go, then the next thing I do is I start defining. So I might take like this blue, I don't know if you can see me, it's very subtle. I will just put a little bit of the blue around the diamond shapes here to kind of just enhance them. Just a little tiny bit. And I'm picking out, at this point, it's all about the patterns in my painting. So I'm going to pick out what I like as a pattern and enhance it just a little bit. And I may enhance some color too. So that was the blue, but I don't want to just put the blue in one spot. So then I may come over here and just put it in some other spots and maybe not in necessarily the same shape. So I just put some nice little circles of something, don't know what they are. In here, I like that. And then I'm going to come up here maybe and just use a little more of that blue. Again, finding 3 different places in my painting to kind of play with the color. I like and enhance the blue here. Okay, I'm liking that. I like that. I like that. Woo! I'm gonna drop up here. Do I want it any other? Maybe I want just a little more. This is a pretty color too.
You using Posca pens now?
I'm using Zaire or something. They're cheaper than Poscas. They're not as expensive as Poscas. The ones I am really attached to, I think I told you about them, these Amukis. I mean, I got all of this for like $12.
I'm listening.
It's fabulous colors, water-based ink, multi-surface acrylic pens. They were I really like them. The only negative I found with these pens is sometimes when you if you're going across paper, like this paper might be a little, whoops, my white, I'm going to have to do something about it. Oh, what's this? What is this? Oh, there it is. Uh-oh. So I'm having a crisis with my white. Thank God I have 5 different white pens in my life. Yeah, I know, I can't. This one's the acrylic painter that marks on everything. Yeah. So I might take, these tend to splatter a little when you're when I use them for lines, but that's okay. It makes for interesting looking lines. So now I've just used white over on this side. I may even throw a little bit I'm a dot fiend. Why don't I put some dots over on this side? Okay, that I like. Still not certain what I'm doing in here, but I think what I'm going to do up here is just kind of like I do with alcohol inks. I'm just going to pull out some flowers. I mean, it doesn't have to be, you don't have to say exactly what flower it might be, you know, it just is a shape. And I love just making kind of intermingling these shapes. I love circles. So here I am again, just kind of playing. The one thing that I do find that I want to make sure that I don't do like one flower here, and then I go over here and I do one flower here, and then I leave them alone and they're the same size. I got to just make a little bit more chaos in this. I can do flower shapes maybe, but I don't want them to be very totally precise. I might end up doing like here, maybe I'm thinking there's some leaf shapes. I'm kind of liking that as leaf shapes. And when I go down here, if I want to do a bunch of like circles, but I don't make them all the same size. I kind of play around a little bit with them. I have just a lot of energy happening. This flower, I think, needs more stuff happening in it. And it doesn't, you can make red leaves. You don't have to make red flowers, and you can make green flowers. One of the things I think people get stuck with is they just get so caught up in what this is supposed to be instead of just playing in whatever it is becoming. You know, this is just becoming. This is doodling. It's not a lot of having to be any specific thing, if that makes any sense. I think I'm gonna
Makes sense to me.
Yeah, I think so often we get so stuck thinking, so we've seen this one flower shape, we think, and then the next thing we know, we're spending all of our time making that, you know, trying to repeat it, and instead of just getting some randomness in here. Right now I'm just making dots. I am a dot queen too. I love dots.
You know what I wish? I wish Posca had more colors.
Yes. Yeah, Poscas are really great pens. They truly are. Yeah. And I might even put some flowers. I think I'll put a few flower shapes in the red. But so I'm just having fun. And, you know, I can, if I feel like coloring in some space with the color, I can just make it happen. I don't have to. I don't know why I thought that that looked good, but that's kind of, I'm liking it. At this point, I'm really liking a lot about this. Oops, except for I just made a mess. I rolled my yellow pencil in, and I should know by now that really it takes very little red to do a painting. I keep on putting too much red out there. Red really is very dominant. So I'm just gonna stick some back in its thing. Okay, so next, I'm starting to think of what I want. I think I had a yellow, oh, that's what I was doing. I was cleaning off my yellow. I had this yellow marker and it was full of red. So I'm going to go back in now with another color and just kind of play with this acrylic marker. You could also use alcohol ink markers. You could use Sharpies. You don't have to get stuck with only using the acrylic markers. You can use lots of things. You can use, as I said, you could use the Stabilos. So it's not, there's lots of different options on what you can use. All I am doing is kind of making a pleasing to me, and it may not be pleasing to you, but usually what happens here is I make a pleasing to me a bunch of patterns. Not like that. And then I get into the
Totally intuitive.
it is. It's absolutely totally intuitive. You want to try to have some basic color theory. Like you don't want to put all of the you don't want to put all of the red in one spot, but then the red carries a lot, so maybe that's a good center color. And you don't want to put really bright colors at the very edge of things. And you want to have your highest contrast in your center. So like I might come in here and just add a little more depth to some red in here, just to get a little more high contrast. But you want to just kind of get, I don't know, I guess pleasing is the only thing I can think of now, where it's nice to look at. And it doesn't have to say, I don't necessarily want it to say, oh, this is a daisy and this is a rose and this is a whatever. I want it to kind of look a little more kind of chaotic and mysterious, you know?
Even so she sees a vase of flowers.
Yeah, I see a vase of flowers too. I'm trying to get rid of it.
I kind of see where she sees it too.
I see it too, you know, but I don't know. I think I've got something's happening there and I'm not sure what I want to do with it. But yes, I see a vase of flowers. I see the side and the vase is right. And I could make it into a vase of flowers very easily, but that's not really necessarily what I want in the moment. I want to do something to tone this yellow down, because I think it's not making me that happy. So let me see what happens if I blaze it.
I feel like mine doesn't really have a center of interest. Do I
Well,
need
that's where I'm stuck with mine, where this vase is just the vasey shape is too much.
I think I kind of want something in here, so I think I'll end up adding some bright yellow and maybe white, kind of.
Yeah, let me see. Can you put yours as the big one? Let me see yours as the big one. I want to see it. No, make it.
Oh, you want me to spotlight myself? Okay.
Yeah, spotlight it.
Okay.
Oh, I love it.
So
Yeah,
I don't know what's going on, but like I said, there's no center of interest. So I think this lower third here, I'm mirrored on the screen, I think. Maybe not.
right. Yeah.
But right in here, I want to have a little more center of it. I think I'm gonna come in with my pasta with some brighter, more contrasting colors right here.
Yeah, yeah, I think that that would be good. With mine, I'm also looking at the center of interest too, and it's not as, I'm not as excited. But then again, you know, what I ended up doing when this happened last time is I put the words in the bottom.
Yeah, so that could do it, right? So
And it said bloom, you know? So I think that I'm going to continue in that process. I'm going to just end up with a little more, I'm using a bit of the red here to brighten up.
right,
some
yeah,
of-
no, that's making a big difference, actually.
Yeah, I'm just doing just a little bit of the red in here to kind of brighten up stuff. And then I'm going to put the letters down there. And I think that that may end up doing what I need to do.
Well, I just had a thought, so I'm really gonna try something bold here.
Hey, do something bold. You
Yeah,
know,
something
this is
bold here.
the great thing about layering is if I do this and I don't like it, I can put another layer on top of it. So that I think is one of the freedoms that I found out. One of the really, I did one of those really big paintings that I think I recently sold it for like $1,400. But it at one point it was a totally different painting, and I just said, this isn't working for me, and I undid it. You know, I just went, okay. And I just put 2 more layers on top of it. And then suddenly it started working. So you never know where your layer is going to be when it starts finally working for you. And I'm just going to tone that a little bit over in this one. And you don't want everything to be high key, Lori.
Right.
So, you know, I may want to tone down some of this, but I like this much better now that I've kind of put some more contrast in it. I really do. So I'm liking it, and maybe put a little more in here. So if I wanted to, I can put a word down here on the bottom, I think. And, you know, you can use stencils for that, or you can use, if there are people that are really good at drawing or at lettering, I am not one of them. I am not a good at lettering person.
Well, I like to cut out my words and paste them on.
That's a good one too. I have this, well, this one's too big. I have one that's smaller than this. I have to get the smaller one. So what I'll do is I'll use a stencil. But what did I do with my smaller stencil? So this is also the perfect place to put a stamp. Because we can't find this smaller stencil. I thought for sure I put the smaller stencil up here. But this is also a great place that if you have, oh, as Laurie says, you can put words in. No, that's not any smaller. It just looks smaller when it's clean. You know, I stuck words in here, or I have just put it in with the stamp, and or I have just used something like a Sharpie or a one of these pens and just used it as, you know, traced it here. One of the disadvantages, if you've gotten lots of layers like I have on this one, is that it's taking a little time to, it's not a good flat surface. Got way too many layers, but I'm liking it. So I put my B here. I'm going to make a bloom. Well, maybe I'm not going to make a bloom. See, a lot of times one of these things, you know, when I record a lesson, Laurie, all of the places that I make mistakes miraculously disappear.
I know, right?
Yeah. So here I'm like, well, this is not miraculously disappearing where I'm making the mistakes.
But that's good though, Terry. That shows everyone, you know, it's okay to make mistakes. We all make them.
Is it? Okay.
Yeah.
So, yeah, I know. I think I'm going to go back to the stamping and because that didn't really work that well, and now I got to dry it. Right. And for me, a mistake is nothing more than an opportunity to change your mind. So a lot of times I'll go, oh my God, what happened? And then the next thing you know, I go, oh, that might even work. So,
Yeah.
so I am going to go with the L, if I can find it. B, L.
So anybody who's watching, regardless of when and where you're watching this from, if you give this a shot, be sure to share it on the Mixed Media Mad Crazy About Mixed Media group so we can see it. Because I want
Yes, I want to see other people trying this.
I'd love to see everyone's work.
I'm hoping I'm not intimidating people with all of this layer after layer after layer, but it's fun to do.
It's fun and it's extremely intuitive. So in my opinion, this, I don't think you can make mistakes. You can only improve and keep building up on it.
No, it is. It's very subjective. Well, like that L did not work at all. You know, you kind of look and you say, oh, well, no, that didn't work. And that's okay. You know, it doesn't have to work perfectly every time. You can go and
Just for that.
huh?
I said thank you.
Thank God. I don't know what I would do if I had to make it right all the time. Okay, I'm going to go back to the red for my letters because that L is just not. I found that out of all these letters that I did, the L is the hardest one to do of the balloon. So, I don't know why. It's not a, maybe I have to wait till it's absolutely all dry. Maybe I ought to just do that. And you can also just give up and draw it in yourself. There is that, well, what happens if I just make it, you know, if I just say, okay, so I'm not that great on making letters, but let me see what happens if I just try, because this is a little annoying. So here's my L. See, that's much better. BL. me do the O's and see if I can save this with the OOM. Oh, go away. EL O. Reminds me of the time I was in Annapolis and I was having to ride an elephant.
What?
I was at some kind of fair and I don't know why I had to ride the elephant, but I had to ride this elephant and the elephant wouldn't go where I wanted it to go. And it's not easy to ride elephants. I think it was the place I worked for. I worked for Coombs Toyota and they were making me ride this elephant. And it was awful because I felt like it was like, it's not working how I want it to work. But that was okay. It ended up okay in the end, right?
Well, you're here, so.
Right, yeah, we were in the Naval Academy at the stadium and the elephant decided it wanted to, what's that, Westcott Avenue, wanted to cross Westcott and its handlers were chasing it and I'm on top of it and I'm going, this is not how I planned my day to go. So, it was really rather awful, but I'm liking that. I'm liking the space that that's holding, but I am going to have to wait for it to dry. And then I'm going to have to go back in with some colors and kind of make it come alive. If you can see what I mean. I may actually go back in with that blue. I really like that blue, but let me dry it again.
Well, mine's not exactly a bloom.
Well, name it something else. Spring? Can you name it spring?
I don't know if I'm feeling spring when I look at it. I'm sure it'll come to me.
You have some beautiful colors in there, Laurie. I think that it'll, in the long run, it will work.
Well, the thing is the colors that are coming across on the screen really aren't the right colors that I'm seeing here. Now, looking at it on the screen, it's not the same.
Yeah, the kind of the same thing right now with mine. I don't know if I bring it closer, does it look? Yeah, it looks a little more magenta, but it actually looks really pretty. I'm surprised. So what I see with mine that I have to deal with is this blue. As much as I like these blues, the blue is dominating. So I have to figure out a way to reduce that a little bit somehow.
I'm running into the same thing. I'll tell you what I'm doing.
What are you doing?
Well, I took my Posca pen, but you can take a little bit of white acrylic and I put it on the paper next to me and I'm just dabbing my finger in it and just touching it over the top of the blue some. Can you see that?
Yeah, I was not exactly the same thing. I was taking my brush and I was putting it in a little bit of, no, yeah, that might not work either. I'm putting it down and then I'm pulling it up and I'm seeing if that works.
And
I think it works much better.
Keep getting tempted to pull out that gel plate, but I'm not gonna do that.
I know, I thought of that myself. Just a little gel plate. Well, you could do that, Laura. You could just put the little, do some.
I did do some of my texture here, these little circles and stuff. I did do that. I don't know if you could see it.
You did a gel plate with it?
The gel plate and then my little mark making diamond tool that I use all the time.
Oh, cool. That's good. No, I think I like everything. I'm just not happy with the bloom word. It's like not making me happy at all. But maybe I need to see what happens if I make it blue. Well, this is one of the reasons why I like mixed media, because when one thing doesn't work, you can just go and say, well, but what happens if? Whereas my original art was always watercolor,
Yeah.
which if one thing works, you know, you're just, I hate to say you're screwed, but it's not
It's
It's
not as
not-
forgiving.
it is not as forgiving, which is actually why my teacher originally made me start in watercolor when I started painting, because I kept on trying to make everything perfect. So she said I needed watercolor to learn acceptance.
Ah, that's
And then
so
I-
great.
And then I gave her alcohol inks and said, "No."
Then it was all over.
Right. She's like, well, this is radical acceptance. And it really is.
So funny. Well,
It
I
is.
appreciate everyone that's still hanging with us here.
Yeah, I know. I'm having fun, but I don't, it's probably, people are probably saying, okay, well, you guys are just chatting at this point and messing with your paintings.
So
We're enjoying it. I'm enjoying it.
Good. I'm glad, Hillary. What do you think? Did that blue work, or am I going to have to do something else? I may still have to do something else.
How about an outline?
Yeah, I'm thinking it's going to have to be an outline, but before, that's what I ended up doing with the original one. I had to do the outline.
Oh, I think would look lovely. Yeah.
Yeah, because it gets lost in all of the colors. But when I did a white outline,
Yeah, then it would stand out, but the colors are beautiful.
yes, they are. They're really quite, I like the colors that are happening here. I like just about everything that's happening there, except I think that the only thing that I will do is add, again, I am a dot person. And for some reason, I love adding just lines of dots. I don't know why.
I'm just doing the same thing. So,
It feels right.
yeah.
Stars in these skies up here.
There's some
And
areas that are just too quiet.
yes, they were too quiet. And I will end up with, let me see what happens if I take the yellow. Okay, I'm going to try I have the red bloom here. Yeah, I think that the highlighting them, whether I do it with the white here or black Sharpie, I'm not sure which one. I think I like the white. I think the black would be too
Harsh.
harsh. Yeah.
Oh, that looks good.
Doesn't that really pull it out, Hillary?
Mhm.
I love group paintings. Everybody's giving me ideas. Thank you.
Well, that's what makes it so fun.
Yeah, I think.
Even
it
though I'm
is.
not painting, I love joining. It's so much fun. I didn't think I was going to be able to be here, so that's
Well, we're
That was
glad you're here.
yeah.
we're-
And I'm gonna need a shower when we're done. If you guys could see me have paint all over me.
Oh, I know. Me too. My hands are, yeah.
That means you're having fun.
Yeah.
It is. I'm having a lot of fun. Look at this end. It's really big.
Mhm.
That's how big that end was. Oh, there's a little red dot there. I'm very excited about the conference coming up because I can't wait to try the paper towel cowl with this Teresa's one.
Teresa, yeah, that's gonna be fun.
That's going to be so much fun.
Have you
And
ever
look-
done one, Terry, with paper towels?
Yes, but not a cowl. I've done,
How either.
I've never done the cowl.
I just did landscapes.
Yeah, I've done landscapes, and I did a whole bunch of boxes covered with paper towels.
Oh,
They were
yeah,
fun.
the paper towel, I've done a bunch of those too.
Yeah, I've
That's
done the
one of my
boxes.
favorite things.
Yeah,
I always buy when I go to the like TJ Maxx or whatever, I always get these tissues and I use them.
yeah, yeah, that's what I do. But I've never done a cowl, so that sounds like it's going to be fun. And so I'm looking forward to that. I'm looking forward to getting my gel plates back out.
Yeah, that'll be fun. So we won't do that during the conference. We'll do it the week after.
Oh, okay, but
Yeah,
isn't
Break it up a little bit.
yeah, but isn't somebody's doing
Oh, Beth is doing gel.
Beth, yeah, she's doing gel plates and the stamping with natural stuff.
Botanical prints.
Botanical prints. That sounds like it's going to be so
I know.
much.
I happen to be looking at the schedule.
Oh, okay. So you can tell us what we're going to be doing. Mine's something like this, but it's just many more layers and a little more organized because I had time to breathe in between rather than making all my mistakes in public like I do. Somebody asked me that. They said, how come you're willing to do these paint-alongs, because you make the mistakes right in front of people? I'm like, yeah, well.
Oh, that's part of it.
I think that makes everybody want to try it more because you're real.
Right.
Oh, well, thank you. Yeah.
No, I love the live paint-alongs because I feel like I get to know everyone that way, and that's
Yes.
for me. That's the funnest part. Is the meeting friends.
Well, and especially it was really bad when COVID,
Yeah.
It was like, let me in here. Uh-oh, I ran out of my color right at the back of the M. Oh, no, it's cute. Okay, I think what do you think, guys? I like that. That was a great
Yes.
idea. Terry.
Yeah,
Yeah.
no, that's
I call mine done too. Can you tell? Can you see mine? Is there,
Yes, let's put yours up at the, I'll go down close on mine and then you can put yours on, but I have to figure out now how to go down close on mine. How do I do that?
or hold it up. There it is.
Right, now I'm gonna zoom and put it up there. How's that look, guys?
It looks great.
beautiful.
Yeah.
Thank you. I like
Lovely.
the little dots up there. It's raining in my garden of love.
Raining in your blooming garden.
It is. It's raining in my blooming garden. That's what it is. And let me see yours, Lori.
Okay. I'm not sure I'm done yet, but I guess I probably should be. Let me put it in the spotlight though.
Okay. Oh, I love it. I love the circles you put down there. That was a fabulous idea.
Right. Well, I wanted to draw that center of attention down here a little bit. Because
Sure
I don't
did.
have balloons going
Sure
on.
did. That's the first thing it caught my eye. It was great.
Right.
Yeah, but then you also put it up at the top on the other corner and it just kind of flows.
Right.
Yeah, I love it.
I'm using the law of thirds kind of compositioning a little
Yeah.
bit.
Yeah,
Drawing the eye up.
yeah. And I love your texture in it. Great texture. I love it.
Thank you. Thank you, Terry.
Okay, well, I hope some other people are doing it. And but I don't see any other questions, so.
No, there's no others in YouTube either. I think a lot of people were watching on the website where you can't participate in the comments. But if you are watching and you do have questions, you can still leave the questions in the comments on the YouTube the YouTube video will remain up, so you can go back up and check that out at least till Sunday, through Sunday. After that, it becomes private, and anybody wanting to participate or watch the replay, it won't be free like you guys take advantage of it. But seriously, we would love to have you guys all join us next week at the Mixed Media Mad mashup. This is just one of the type of projects. Like I said, Teri's going to actually be doing this, but even more in depth and more structured. And not that this wasn't awesome. This has been great, Teri. I learned a lot with this. I love it. I love it. And but anyway, with Mixed Media Mad Mashup, there's a bunch of other presentations, some really cool stuff going on. We've got copper sculpture going on. Sharon's going to be doing the paper towel cows that Teresa's going to be doing. Beth is going to be doing gel plating. I'll be doing a collage project with the heart, where basically we're going to be using used up gel prints. Like if you've got a bunch of gel prints you've been collecting, that's what I use, but you can use any collage papers or whatever you have in your stash to build that. So we're going to be doing a collage on that. Serena's got these really cool fish mixed media that she's doing. What have I left out? There's a lot. So go check it out. It's going to be it's a lot of value for the buck, and you get lifetime access. We're going to do a bonus presentation like this, a live panel, and we're going to do gel printing together. So that ought to be a lot of fun. So anyway, check it out, mixedmediamad.com. And because you're watching this, you can get a coupon for $20 off. So you just use the coupon 20OFF to get $20 off. Let me change this to. Does anybody? Hillary? You didn't paint along this time, did you? And everyone else that was on screen.
Yeah.
Fell out. So okay, that's fine. Thanks for joining, everyone. This was a lot of fun. Thank you so much, Teri, for leading us through it. Yours just turned out fabulous and gorgeous.
Thanks, Teri. Thanks, Lori.
Thank you, Melissa, and the people that are still hanging in there.
Yeah.
And
if you create these, be sure to share it on the Mixed Media Mad group, because we would love to see your work as well.
And if you have any questions, I'll put mine up on Mixed Media Mad group and look for it, and then you can also ask questions in that group.
Yep. Sounds
Okay.
great. Everyone have a good evening.
Thank you, Lori.